Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today is a very special edition. Today I'm bringing on Patrick Ward, who was an author in our recent book release, Money Matters, Top Tips for Success, and this is the Business Leaders Edition, volume number 3. Patrick, first off, congratulations for being chosen for the book, and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Adam. It was really exciting to participate in the book and look forward to chatting today.
So that being said, Patrick, so your chapter, Marketing Transformation, Why Your Marketing Mindset is Holding Your Organization Back. Let's just start off with this. So what was the inspiration for your writing?
Yeah, so the inspiration came for a very large trend that I'd always seen in marketing is, you know, back in the Mad Men sort of era, we knew that marketing was not held to account in terms of revenue. Marketing was seen as this activity that people spent a lot of money on, and they weren't really sure whether they got anything out of it, but as long as it looked flashy. And these were the sort of metrics of brand recognition, awareness, you know, things that weren't really tied to a concrete result. And then what happened is we saw with the rise of the internet, this shift into what was called growth hacking. And that's where it got really into the nuts and bolts. Marketing really started to be tied towards every single outcome that from a marketing activity was tied directly to sales. And in my opinion, both of these approaches are wrong. And really, in order to get the true success out of your marketing, you need to adopt what I refer to as a marketing transformation mindset, where it views a hybrid between the two. Because the problem with the former was awareness was such a fluffy metric that it didn't look like it was driving any business results. Mm-hmm. But then the problem with the latter of growth hacking was it was too much tied towards getting a sale that it forgot that no one buys instantly. You know, I can't just send you a message telling you to buy a product now and have you buy it. I need to educate you over multiple touch points. I need to build trust with you, build rapport with you. And, you know, particularly for any large-scale purchase, particularly in my space in the B2B industry, you need to make sure that you're communicating effectively with your marketing, still tying it to a result, but maybe it doesn't need to be an immediate sale.
So in the chapter, you give multiple examples to illustrate what you're talking about, and that's a little cliffhanger for the people listening. We want you to go out and get the book, of course, but we are going to get into it some, so we're going to give you something. So I see in the example, you talk about Rootstrap and how you've been implementing these things from the beginning. Can you tell us a little bit more about your writing on that?
Yeah, so Rootstrap was a very interesting case study for me. It is obviously my current company that I apply this marketing transformation mindset to. And the reason I was applying it is I was seeing that Rootstrap, being an app and web development agency, was traditionally targeting towards startups and venture-backed companies. Now, that was great in our initial iteration. It doesn't work when we're trying to move up the value chain towards more mid-market companies and enterprise companies. Now, what that means for us is that our marketing needs to shift as well. And how we do it is by applying this marketing transformation. So understanding that, you know, it's not just a simple case of we now go and scrape a bunch of enterprises and hit them up, hey, we're an app and web development agency, because a lot of people do that, and that cold email doesn't work. So what I suggested was this, my stage 2 of implementing it is implementing the language of the customer. So we went out and we started building case studies directly from companies that we'd worked with that would be ideal for us to work with in the future. And we listened to them as they told us how they perceived ourselves. This is a classic mistake that marketers make. Marketers think, oh, I'm conceiving of how my company appears in the world. Well, no, that's not what your brand is. Your brand is what other people say you are. So why not go to the source? Why not go to our customers, listen to them very closely and intentionally as they are giving us this valuable information about how we are perceived in the marketplace. And then it's very clear of how you start building a marketing for any channel that you're trying to do, whether it's website, whether it's email, whether it's social media, because you've got the broad story, that foundational story there for you to pull copy from as you need. And it's going to be more compelling because it's already in the language of the customer, not the language of yourself.
I love that. And I mean, that's one of my favorite sayings, is that your perception is my reality. It doesn't matter what I think about me. It matters what you think about me. If you're talking about my brand, right? If you're talking about my brand, it's really how you view me, that, and the collective views me and my client base views me, that really makes my brand. And I want to take that just one step deeper if I can, the language of the customer specifically, because I know there's some people right now listening that may be a little bit of a foreign concept to them, because from the marketing side of things, that's commonplace. And even though some marketers do make that mistake and don't pay attention to it as much as they should, but for the regular business owner, like I'll put myself in my shoes. When I started out as a financial advisor many years ago, before being in media, I didn't really understand the language of the customer. If I would have been listening to this back then, I'd have been like, language of the customer, what? Let's go a little bit further on that one, Patrick.
Well, I think this is actually the reason of why I came up with this philosophy of a language of the customer. This was in one of my previous companies. So I was running a marketing campaign for a do-it-yourself trading platform under a brand name called eFutures. Now, the target segment of this brand was farmers. Now, I myself am a city boy. I couldn't tell you the first thing about farmers. But what we found out through that, and Twitter was really useful in this particular case, we used Twitter because that's where we'd identified the vast majority of this target segment to be operating. And so we were able to do that unique customer research before they were even customers, because we could see the language they were using. We could see what were the concerns and the issues that really mattered to them. And then we were able to adopt a lot of that language very authentically into our messaging, because we knew that our product was designed to solve a problem for farmers. And specifically, it was allowing them to make more money through hedging on their crops. But through that, we were using their terms, not our own terms. And we can see that if we used our own terms, it would have come across as very disingenuous. It would have come across as, these city slickers coming over trying to steal our money, rather than someone who is actually genuinely trying to partner with them. So this is really where, and I understand a lot of businesses still get reticent about social media. They still treat it like traditional media. They push out their messaging rather than pulling messaging. And that's really what you should be doing, is you've got a huge swath of your customer base talking about issues and concerns that matter to them on a daily basis on social media. So identify the channel where they're talking and just listen. Just actively listen to what they say, because that will mean you can communicate with them far more effectively than if you're just pushing messages at them and hoping that they'll buy.
Man, I love it. I want to spend some time on what you're doing over at Rootstrap. So for the audience that didn't catch maybe your first episode where we went really in depth on Rootstrap and your philosophy of what you're doing over there, let's spend some time there. So tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Yeah, so Rootstrap has been around since 2011. It was started as what was called Neon Roots, which was a product ideation studio that was based here in Los Angeles, and the other half was Top Tier Labs in Montevideo, Uruguay. And over time, those two companies worked with each other very extensively, to the point that in 2016 they merged together to create Rootstrap. And we've had a lot of success in what we've done, both from a building software from the ground up, as well as doing staff augmentation, or what we like to refer to as embedded teams. We've got a number of notable clients, namely Masterclass, Google, Quartz. And what I think has really separated us, and this is something I'm always very astonished, is the trust and integrity that we lead with. We've seen so many clients come to us saying, hey, I want to build an app. And we've gone through a brief 1 to 2 week discovery process with them and found out, you know what, maybe an app is not the right thing. Maybe if you build a web interface that only cost you $5,000 rather than $100,000, that would be better off. And we literally get so many clients saying to us, thank you for saving me so much money. And this is, unheard of. I'd been in this industry for quite some time before joining Rootstrap, and I'd never seen this. I'd never seen a development agency turn down literally 6-7-figure deals because they knew it wasn't right. But the funny thing is, that's exactly the right philosophy. Because when you do that, when you genuinely show you're caring about a company's best interest, then they're going to be the best referral advocate you'll ever have. I know a couple of weeks ago we had Chelsea Handler's team in the same situation. They thought that an app was what they needed, and it turns out it was absolutely not the right thing. And they were so appreciative. They left us a wonderful testimonial about thanking us for saving them literally tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Wow, that's amazing. What's the right type of, so there's some business owners listening right now. We've talked about your writing. We've talked a little bit about your company. What are the right types of businesses that you like working with?
For us, I think it's a key in 3 industries. It's e-learning or education, anyone trying to digitize that. And I think particularly given the current climate, that's very pertinent. Is healthcare. Again, healthcare is one of those industries that's been traditionally very much analog in their approach, but they are slowly starting to adopt more digital methods. And is consumer, particularly e-commerce. Now, those 3 industries, they share a common thread, which is that businesses understand, and if anything, this current coronavirus catastrophe that has struck in the world is teaching everyone that we need to be ready for a more tech-based world. We need to be ready for a more remote-based world. And there are a lot of tools there, but a lot of companies have been, slow to adopt. They haven't felt the need to. Well, sadly, this crisis is the thing that is pushing them into it. But what we hope as someone who, as a company that really advocates for the power of technology, that other companies will see the benefits that can come as a result of this. Not to say that there won't be a time and a place for in-person once this crisis subsides, but maybe they'll realize that they can be a bit more flexible in their working arrangement. Maybe they can offer some remote benefits that actually empower their employees even more than they thought possible beforehand.
Yeah, well said. So Patrick, if somebody's listening to this and they want to connect with you or to learn more about Rootstrap, what's the best way for them to do that?
They can either visit our website at rootstrap.com or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's linkedin.com/in/Patrick James Ward.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Patrick, welcome back to the show. Really, really great to have you back on. And congratulations again for your writing being published in our recent release of Money Matters, Business Leaders Edition, volume number 3. Your chapter in that book, Marketing Transformation, Why Your Marketing Mindset is Holding Your Organization Back, was an excellent addition to the book. I'm very proud to have published it, and congrats on all your great work. So thanks again.
Thank you very much, Adam. It was a real joy and a pleasure. So thank you.